David Gordon Green's latest horror project, The Exorcist Believer, is finally here. So today, let's see if it's worth your time. Hey everybody, my name is Justin here. I try to watch everything that hits theaters and on streaming services. If you guys are like me, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below and click that bell notification for more up and coming content. When his daughter Angela and her friend Catherine show signs of demonic possession, it unleashes a chain of events that forces single father Victor to confront evil. Terrified and desperate, he seeks out Chris McNeil, the only person alive who's witnessed anything like it before. So David Gordon Green is attempting to relaunch another horror franchise. He did it with Halloween. The first Halloween film that he did, I liked. The second one, I hated. The third film, I really liked it. I know a lot of people didn't, but I thought it was really cool. So I was kind of like mixed on him entering The Exorcist. This forgets the second film and the third film, the beginning, any other Exorcist film. It's a straight sequel to the original Exorcist film, which many people consider to be one of the best horror films of all time. It's a good movie. I like it a lot. This film does not even come close to The Exorcist. Let's just get out of the way. It's nowhere near as good as The Exorcist. And going into it, I didn't expect it to be either. But seeing its Rotten Tomatoes score and people's reactions to it, I was very, very curious about how bad it actually could be. And I don't think it's bad as people make it out to be. Not the best Exorcist film by any means, but it's decent. I think the best thing that works for it is understanding the demonic possession. What made Reagan so disturbing and so creepy at the end of The Exorcist is that possession. And here we have these two young girls, Angela and Catherine, that go off into the woods in the beginning of the film. They're gone for 3 days and they come back and they are possessed. And so we see a slow transition into them being possessed and a demon taking over them. And I think that really works with the makeup, the performances from the young girl, the exorcism at the end. It's really suspenseful. I thought the end was probably the best part to it. Understanding the family dynamics, you have Catherine's mother and father who are fighting for her life, and Angela has her father, and they are there to protect them, and they will try anything to have their daughters be safe. And so there's a strong family connection to the end of the film, and the exorcism itself is pretty bloody. It's suspenseful. It works. The makeup, the performances, very solid part to it. Everything else kind of leading up to it is where the weakness lies, because the story itself is really thin. It has a really solid opening where the parents are looking for their children, and there's kind of that mystery about what had actually happened. But the film is so focused on that there's not really much of a story developing. You have the father fighting with other people as they are believing in God and religion that will help them, and he doesn't believe in any of that. Then you have Ellen Burstyn's character come back, Chris McNeil. She was in the original Exorcist film, and her character just feels pretty wasted. They have her there to connect to the original Exorcist film, but she doesn't really contribute much to the movie. There's times where she has to confront her own fears, what happened with her daughter Reagan, but for the most part, she's just there to be a name and have a connection to that original film. So there's so much more they could have done with her, a lot of potential to have a solid storyline and kind of almost like a conclusion to her story as well. But the film's pacing moves so slow with the storyline of the two girls and their family. You have these kind of creepy moments throughout, but you don't really feel like the story is moving at all. It's just so stuck. The father not believing in God, that there's no development for the father, no development for the family. And then you get to the exorcism part, it just feels like there's no kind of meat to the story, no emotion buildup, no suspense building up to that exorcism scene. And despite a solid setup and some good direction from David Gordon Green throughout and some really good performances from the children, there's not much to latch onto. There's not much to just really focus on and see that story develop. And that's easily the weakest part of this movie, is the story itself, because it feels like there's not much there. They want to have the kids do something kind of creepy, and then they're walking down the aisles of church. They're shouting things in church. There's things that they want to happen, but it just feels like it's dropped there, it's dropped there, and there's no story to connect each part. And that's very frustrating because of its good setup and its good conclusion. Everything else in the middle just feels wasted, and they want to have that connection to the first Exorcist film, but it doesn't even come close. When you look at the first Exorcist film, the struggle of faith and the priests that were involved with the exorcism and how they struggled with their own beliefs and what was happening, that was a solid storyline for the supporting characters within the film. And then also Reagan was very disturbing, and that exorcism was very strong. And though it's good in this movie, it does not even come close to what that Exorcist film did. Performances from the young girls are really good as they start to become more aware of what is happening. The deeper demonic voice comes out, and that's where like a lot of the entertainment works, as it feels like it's more connected to the original film in that regards. I'm not sure. I would like to see David Gordon Green take on more horror franchise. Is he going to revamp just like whatever he can get his hands on? You know, Halloween worked half of the films, and I don't know, I'm not like too excited for his trilogy of the Exorcist films, but if they can do something a little bit different and have some more meat and more development along the way, it could be something pretty good. But for this first film, I just wasn't moved by it. I wasn't moved by the family connection. For most of the film, the performances have an Ellen Burstyn, even that was wasted potential for a strong character within the film. It wanted to be like Halloween. It wanted to have like Jamie Lee Curtis return and have so much focus on that. But when you look at what Ellen Burstyn just did, it wasn't too much to the film. Like, she came and talked about how it affected her life, and that was pretty much about it. And scenes just feel really underdeveloped. There's a character, the father, who comes into play that he talked about how he was there for the children, and he touched them, and he felt the evil presence. But then you look back to those scenes, like, you weren't involved too much. I didn't even remember who you were. And so there's certain points where you feel like scenes are missing. Moments like that were quite frustrating. So The Exorcist Believer, it wasn't terrible, but I wasn't impressed by the film either. There were some good aspects to it, but it could have been a lot better. So before I give you my score for The Exorcist Believer, make sure to check out my channel. Here I do movie reviews, trailer actions, ranking videos, tier lists, all that fun movie related content that you see on YouTube. I do it all here, so hit that subscribe button to get it all in one spot. And if you'd like to see where The Exorcist Believer ranks amongst all the other 2023 releases I've seen this year, follow me on Letterboxd, and there you can find my ranking. I'm going to go ahead and give The Exorcist Believer a C. Thank you guys for checking out my review for The Exorcist Believer. Have you guys seen the new Exorcist film? What did you think about it? Let me know in the comment section down below, and stay tuned for more up and coming content like this. My name is Just Watches Movies, and you guys stay classy, YouTube.